So, welcome to today's analysis. Today is Monday, the 19th of February 2018, and the time is 18:10 here in the UK. You're looking at a New Zealand USD daily chart. Today's analysis, we're going to be looking for reversal setups and continuation setups and all kinds of price action setups, really, not just limited to those two. So, let's get started with the analysis. We're going to start with New Zealand USD because we're on it, so why not? New Zealand USD, what's going on here? We got, actually I forgot the chat. I'm going to bring the chat back up. Make sure it sits at the front. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know, it turned back on. Cool. Anyway. So, New Zealand USD, what's going on with New Zealand USD? It's stalling at resistance. We identified a trade here last week, like at the end of last week. I didn't get to enter any of the trades. They were pretty much across all three of these pairs, New Zealand USD, GBP USD, Euro USD. I know a few of you guys entered short on Euro USD. Seems to still be going okay, but at the start of this week, it didn't continue down. In fact, right now it's kind of stalling. But it's the same across the board with these. New Zealand USD is probably the worst performer out of the three. They were mostly taken on the 12-hour chart. New Zealand USD is the worst performer. But I don't think anyone really entered New Zealand USD. Am I right in saying that? I don't think I saw any real conversation about New Zealand USD on the forum. It was mostly centered around the others. Alright, fair enough, someone entered. Soniso entered. Yeah, I didn't look at the forum that much over the weekend. Michael J. Fox entered. Soniso. Yeah, so a few people entered. So we'll take a quick look at New Zealand USD in that case. I mean, what can you say about it? It's trending down, right? Well, not trending down. It started to trend down on the 8-hour, but now it's kind of pulling back. They're all pulling back, really. New Zealand USD, GBP USD, Euro USD. You know, a lot of times you get this over the weekend. You get kind of like a shift in the trend over the weekend. So on Friday it was going really well, and then on Monday or Sunday evening, but Monday really, things just turn around and it's not going where you wanted it to anymore. I mean, it did kick off the week, as you see here, with just a push down, but now it's kind of like momentum is sort of changing. I wouldn't panic and exit this trade. I'd keep it open. If you look at the last few candles, overall, we're still getting lower lows. Obviously, this wasn't a lower low, but we're still getting mostly lower lows. We're getting lower highs. We've got this nice strong resistance area right above price. This area has held price back twice already. Looks like it might hold it back again. So I would just hold on to this trade and just see how it goes. Yeah, today's a US holiday, so expect less momentum overall. No, generally speaking, I mean, you just expect less momentum on US bank holidays, but I think a lot of people forget how important the London session is, because the London session is UK traders, and there's a lot of traders in the UK, a lot of trading goes through London. But not only UK traders, then you've got all of Europe, and they're all trading at the same time. There's about 1 hour difference between the open time of banks in the UK and the rest of Europe. So that trading session is responsible for most of the movement throughout the day. The US session is a close second. The US session is still pretty significant, but the biggest is London and Europe. So yeah, US is closed today. The banks in the US are closed. Most traders in the US are not working today. It's going to lead to less momentum, possibly less volatility, let's say, especially as around these times when London and Europe are closing. Less volatility, generally speaking, around these times, but you're still going to get some movement. Just you expect a quieter day, so I don't really think it's going to affect the trade much overall. because it's not like just because the US opens for business that everyone starts buying the US dollar. People are still trading based on the strengths and weaknesses of the currency. So I wouldn't be worried too much about it. Just hold on to the trade. I mean, it's still a pretty solid trade. We've got resistance, like I said, above. Going to potentially stop it from moving down. GBP USD, similar situation, but GBP USD has moved down further, so you've got a little bit more breathing room with GBP USD. You don't have to be as kind of concerned because New Zealand USD is already back at the entry. So when something's back at the entry, then you start thinking, should I exit? GBP USD has a bit more breathing room, so if you're in that, then you should definitely keep this one open. Euro USD, similar situation, but even more breathing room. That one just went down like crazy. I know several of you are in this. I think Liz is in this too. Or did she close it out? I can't remember. Liz is still in this. So a lot of you guys are in this one. This one looks solid. I know it's pulling back now, but lower lows, don't freak out just as it pulls back a little bit. You're in a really good position with this one. I mean, it could turn around. You know, that's just the reality of trading. Maybe this current indecision here is going to cause price to turn around, and it is certainly possible because if you look to the left, you see that price has stalled in this area in the past. So, you know, totally possible. But yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Yeah. You know, whenever you enter a trade, the first thing you do, or you spot a trade, not when you enter it, you do this before you enter the trade. The first thing you do is you look to the left and you look for points which price can get stuck on, right? So this would be one of those points. This is where price could get stuck. And it was easy to identify this because of BAM, that bounce there. And then if you look here, on its way down, it bounced away from it before continuing down, right? So you know that this is a potential snag point for this trade when you're entering it. And sure enough, what's happening now? It's getting snagged there. It's stalling there. So you should expect this going into the trade, that it's going to get stalled there. And I think this is very helpful to do because not only does it make you aware of the price action and potential stall points, but just mentally it prepares you for this. If you know that it's very likely to stall in an area before it actually does it, then when it happens, you're not surprised and you're not like thinking, oh no, it's stalling, what should I do? Should I get out of this trade? And for an experienced trader, it doesn't really matter because you have good control of your emotions, so you don't really need to worry about that. But for new traders, knowing what's coming up and being prepared for what's coming up is a lot better. Like, if you know someone's going to jump out from around the corner and yell boo, you're less likely to jump and get scared when they do it, right? And it's the same thing with trading. Well, not the exact same thing, but you get what I mean. When you know that these snag points are coming up, you worry less about them and you don't freak out and make dumb decisions and jump out of your trades. So, MJ, yeah, New Zealand USD has it down here. On the 12-hour, you can see it clearly through here. So I would expect it to get stuck here for a little bit if it goes down enough. So this is just all perfectly normal, guys. Don't freak out too much about it. Euro USD looks still pretty solid to me. All right, but there's no actual setups on these pairs because the setups have already triggered on Friday. So if you're in, you're in. If you're not in, it's too late. I always get asked that question, is it too late to enter now? And yes, it is too late to enter now because if you enter now, you're entering here, which means I know no one asked this in here, but I get asked this question so often that I'm going to answer it because I predict that someone on YouTube is thinking this. You enter here, right? Or where it is right now. Where do you put your stop loss? You could put it here if you want to, but that's pretty risky stop loss. Ideally, you'd want to place your stop loss above resistance, so your stop loss needs to go down here. Then your target needs to be at this support area, or it needs to, generally speaking, be before this support area. So that means your target ends up being here with a 0.76 risk to reward ratio. That's atrocious. If you enter at the right time, all the way back here, then you'd have a 2.82 risk to reward ratio down at this target, and you would have already hit your 1.5 risk to reward ratio if you wanted to exit at 1.5, which generally speaking isn't that bad of an idea. We discussed this in Wednesday's webinar. For those of you on YouTube, Wednesday's webinar is a private members only webinar, so you might not know what we're talking about. I think we discussed this anyway. I said that with this trade, it might be a good idea to target only 1.5 risk reward, simply because it's against the major trend. And when you're going against the major trend, a safer target is 1.5. So if you're out already at 1.5, that's fine. If not, if you're holding, if you want to get a little bit more from it, that's fine too. Totally up to you. So if you want to have a 2 risk reward ratio, my overall point is, if you enter late, you need price to move further in your direction to hit your target. If you enter at the right time, you need price to move less in your direction to hit your target. And that's always better, because price has to move less to hit your target. The more price has to move to hit your target, the harder it is for it to hit your target. Pretty simple stuff. Right, anyway, let's go on to AUDJPY, guys, because we've talked about those free setups long enough, and we're here to do analysis, looking for new setups, not looking at stuff that's already triggered. So, AUDJPY, somewhat interesting. Definitely potential continuation here. This would be one of those kind of more new kind of continuation setups we're going to look at this year. We got price kind of like in a wedge here. It's kind of starting to range on this support area. So if it breaks out to the short side, it could give us a nice little continuation. This is only the 4-hour chart though, so I'm probably not going to trade it on here. But, you know, looking for breaks below the 83.90. I'm just going to wait and see how this one does. It's definitely stalling at this resistance area, definitely struggling. If it starts making new lows beyond these lows from a few days ago here, not this one here, that's an extreme low, but these ones here, it could probably jump in for a short continuation trade, although it's probably going to be a bit tough to get a good target and stop loss in this, to be honest. Yeah, it's not that great, 1.79. You need it to move down quite a lot to hit your target. So I don't think I'm going to do anything with that one personally. AUD/USD, getting price stalling pretty heavily on this support area. We got a gap up, which is interesting, and now we're getting kind of indecision. This is one of those tricky kind of setups, really, because I'm the kind of person, or kind of trader rather, that always wants to have a safe stop loss. So what's a safe stop loss in this case? To me, it'd have to be at minimum below this candle here. So sellers would have to make a new low to hit my target, my stop loss rather. But that doesn't feel like that great a stop loss, to be honest. It doesn't really feel that like a fantastic stop loss, because it's clear that sellers aren't struggling much getting down to these levels here. It just doesn't look like a fantastic stop loss. But that being said, it looks like a pretty cool potential setup, which I would be tempted to enter. Price is clearly struggling to get below this area, so let's just keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens. If this closes as a like solid indecision candle, it might give us a nice little reversal. The trend is overall down, so this would be a counter trend reversal. So it would be a small target, but let's just see how it closes. I'm probably not going to enter anything here, because the stop loss needs to be a bit too wide, and it's just not really the best setup. But it's still worth keeping an eye on. It could end up being good. I think I might have said AUD/USD at the start of this. This is obviously AUD New Zealand. So let's keep an eye on AUD New Zealand, guys. AUD/USD. Oh, this one's just a mess, isn't it? Stuck in between two support resistance areas. It's pretty messy right now. support resistance areas are pretty tightly packed right here. It's going to be hard to get into a good trade. It started to range on the 6 hour anyway. Started to range around here. On the daily, obviously it's not ranging, but it's just starting to slow down a little bit. So let's just see what happens in this area. I want to see if it kind of like breaks out to the short side, if it breaks out to the long side. But right now it's stuck in between these two areas. So I just want to wait it out for a little while. Pretty messy around here. Euro AUD is ranging so tightly on this resistance area. It doesn't want to go above it. It doesn't want to go below it. It's just stuck on this resistance area. Yeah, there's not much I can do with this. Going short, too risky. Going long, too risky. Just nothing really worth anything here. Euro GBP, what's going on with that? Anyone short on Euro GBP? Pretty messy short setup there last week. You were? You closed out? It was a messy / risky short setup there last week. Broke down at the end of the week though. Anyway, nothing there right now. So Euro JPY push down to support. Yeah. I mean, what can you do with that? It's already reversing. It's too late. If you wanted to get into a reversal, you had to do so on like the 4 hour or maybe the 6 hour. But right now it's too late. Not much you can do. This is a problem with analysis. When you have it at a set time, you never know if you're going to spot trades at that time or if the trades have just happened already and it's a bit late to spot them. GBP, JPY, same deal. It's just stuck on this support area, not really moving up or down. USDCAD. Looking for a short here last week. It's come back up to this resistance area. It's forming indecision now. This could give us a nice little short continuation, to be honest, guys. It's trending down overall. I'm going to remove this trend line. This could give us a nice little setup. It would be a somewhat risky setup, but a nice little continuation perhaps. Let's keep a close eye on it. Let's see how this 12-hour candle closes. That's what I'm curious to see. USDCHF. Stuck on the support area. I want to see how this 12-hour candle develops. Because I'm just curious about this resistance area here. It could be a continuation. Because we can already see that buyers tried to push up, but they couldn't really manage it. So they're pulling back down now. Now, overall, this could turn into, this could just continue up, right? But we're seeing already signs of buyers struggling. So if they continue to struggle, this could, and if they stall here, this could turn into a continuation of the overall downtrend. So let's just keep a close eye on it. This might give us a nice continuation setup. It's going to be really tricky to enter it because it's a pretty high wick. So getting a good entry is going to be tricky. But you know, you can always enter on a retrace. There's always options. So when we spot something, we watch it, we see if we can get a good entry. Just because it has a big wick and it's going to make the entry hard, it's no reason to dismiss it right off the bat. So let's keep a close eye on it. We'll see if we can get a good short entry here. It might give us something. USDJPY. We need new support resistance for USDJPY. We need to go back here for starters. Oops. Back to 2016, not that far. Kind of. I'm just placing these fast. I'm not saying they're perfect support resistance areas. I'm going to have to refine them shortly. Probably after this webinar. Oh, look at that. That's actually perfect. Wait, I'm confused. Did I place this based on that bounce? Or did I place this based on... Oh yeah, I placed it based on this stuff back here. Right, and it lines up with this current bounce. Fair enough. It just lined up so perfectly. I was thinking, did I place this here at the start and then scroll back? But no, I placed it based on those bounces from back in 2016. And oh wait, did I? Oh, I'm so confused. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Point is, it's pulling back from the support area right now. We've got some support below it. Pretty, not much space below it. Would this be a strongish support? I mean, right now it's stalling there, but in the past, it looks like a support resistance area here, right? It's got some strong bounces. It's always tricky with like year-old support resistance areas. You just never really know. You never know if you can say it's strong until price bounces from there today or like in current times when you're using older support resistance areas. But the fact that it's bouncing there right now tells me that it's overall a strong support resistance area. So this is, I would say, quite a strong support resistance area. Entry is a bit late. If you wanted to get in, you should have been in already. But looks decent. Is anyone long on this? You'd have to have a pretty large stop, and it's got some resistance in the way. So it's unless you have a tight stop, which is fine. I mean, I like to have my stops below the low of indecision, so I like to have my stops like there. But you know, that's my rules, and I have a low tolerance for risk, although that's changing. That's my rules. But hey, if you want to have a stop loss there, take a little bit more risk, feel free, do it. Nothing wrong with taking risks as long as you know how to manage them. But anyway, guys, let's look at the setups that we might actually want to trade this week, or to start off the week. Obviously, stuff can develop later in the week. USDCHF. Now, USDCHF looks quite interesting. It's trending down overall, and it's hitting this resistance area. We're getting price stalling on this resistance area. Not the strongest setup, and just because price is stalling right now, it doesn't mean it's going to continue to stall. My suggestion with this is to wait and watch. Just be a little patient. Sit on your hands for now, wait and watch. See what happens at this support area. Price could stall at this support area, resistance area rather. Price could stall at this resistance area on the daily chart. If it does, it might present us with a nice little tradable setup. We just need to wait and see. Risk to reward ratio might not be great, but you know, you could always enter on a retrace. You could put in a tighter stop if you're on the riskier side of things. Could give us a potential short trade here in line with the trend. So nice little continuation. Continuation trades are higher probability. If you took a continuation short up here on USDCHF, would have been quite a nice trade. This could be very similar to this setup here, except it obviously hasn't retraced as much. Yeah, so that's USDCHF. AUD New Zealand is stalling on this support area. This is not the best of setups, but I'm kind of curious to see what happens here. AUD USD, why do I keep saying AUD USD? AUD New Zealand, I don't know what's wrong with me today. My brain has not been firing properly today. I went to the ATM machine this morning, automatic teller machine, cash machine, whatever you call it, where you put your card in and cash comes out the wall. I put my card in, put my PIN code in, I take my card out and I walk away and I leave the money in the machine. And by the time I realize, I run back and the money gets sucked back into the machine, because if you don't pull it out fast enough, it takes it back in. Just some mornings you wake up and your brain's just not working properly. I keep calling AUD New Zealand AUD USD, but anyway, AUD New Zealand. Prices is stalling on this area. Emirate, I'll check it out in a sec. I don't know why I'm pointing at a chat, but I'm not sure if you guys can see me pointing. No, you can't, because the camera's pretty low. High, even, whatever. I'll figure out the camera stuff next webinar. Yeah, I'll check USDCAD in a second. Right, so AUD New Zealand. I mean, what can you say about this? It's not the best of setups, is it? It's just kind of like average at best. And audio quality must have been bad because my mic was not near my face this whole time. I forgot to bring it close. That's going to suck on the recording. Yay. Although it is a good mic, so I'm sure it was picking it up okay. Right, so AUD New Zealand, what's going on with that? It's stalling on support. We should just watch this closely, see what happens. USDCAD, price is stalling on resistance, could give us a nice continuation in line with the trend. So very similar to USDCHF, really. They're both giving us potential continuation setups. So let's just watch them closely, see what happens. These other trades, if you're still in them, definitely I would say hold on to them. Just because they're pulling back, it doesn't mean you should exit. They still look pretty solid, still getting lower lows, just hold on to them.
Thanks for watching the analysis. I hope it was useful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button below. Also, for instant notifications when I post analysis or other cool videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Once the setups I share in this analysis trigger, I post live updates as I manage the trade, such as my entry, exit, stop, and when to get out of the trade. For these updates, add me on Facebook or Twitter by clicking the buttons below. I'll see you in the next video.